Now if I copy this formula in row 9, which is immediately below row, there's something wrong here. What is that? It is this particular cell, January. Here there shouldn't be any prepayment amortization. Why? Because our prepayment starts from February. So it starts only from Feb month, and it should only for 18 days, or in this case it should be 16 days, right? So if I total this H to L, I get 2852, which is accurately our prepayment amortization. So this formula from here is working fine, but in this case it should have been 0 here, right? So you have to update our formula one more time. Now to get accurate value here, which should be 0, as our prepayment is starting from Feb, and in January there shouldn't be any amortization, we have to add one more condition here with OR. This particular if condition which we wrote ahead of our main formula, we have to add OR. So OR, and we have to add parentheses. So there are also multiple logic just like if and AND here. The only difference here that with OR condition, if either of the condition is true, we'll get the true value. So I'll explain you that in a moment. So let's add our second logic, which is the key here to get our accurate 0 value here in month of January. So what is my second logic? So I'll be comparing the difference between 31st January 2017, which is the month end date, minus the start date, which is 12 Feb 2017, right? If that is less than 0, correct? And I have to close and give parentheses. If that is less than 0, so in this case, if logic 1 and logic 2, if either of this is true, I want 0, and if both of them is false, I want the formula, right? So let's enter that, and I got 0. So that is what we are looking for. So I'll explain you this condition in a moment. Let me just give our references here. So G is our row here, so row 7, C is a column, right? And I press enter. Now let's try to evaluate these two conditions with OR. So as I mentioned, OR will accept number of conditions just like if and AND, but in this case OR, if either of the condition is true, we'll get the true value. So let's try to test the first condition. I will press F9. It is false. As you know, G7, which is the 31st January 2017 minus the month end date, is not the case. It's not more than G6, right? So that is false here. So if I just try to show you individually, so minus 132 days is not greater than 31 days, right? So it is false. So what about our second logic? So second logic, we are trying to compare that if G7, which is the month end date, minus the start date, which is 12th February 2017, is less than 0. So what is this 2? So if I just press F9, minus 12. So minus 12 is always less than 0. So we got true here, right? So I escape again, I go to second logic and I press F9 here, we got true. So as I mentioned before, with OR, if any of the logic is true, we get the true value. Otherwise we get false, right? So in this case we got true, which is 0 here. I escape and our formula is complete. Now I can paste this formula across all the cells, right? And if I copy this also at our previous row, we make sure that all our formula are consistent. So let me just copy this down. And all our values are accurately populated here. So in month of March, it only starts from March. Or April, it starts from April, right? So in April, it starts from May. Why? Because 30th April is the last day in which the prepayment starts. So it moves to the next month, which is the correct case here. And accordingly, our formula is working just fine. So this is how you prepare an advanced formula for if function, which will calculate accurate prepayment amortization with the exact start date and end date in your schedule, right? Now let me copy this formula throughout our formula section. So this is how you write accurate prepayment amortization formula, where you have a exact prepayment start date and you want to show exact prepayment start date. Now everything else will remain same. You just have to change these particular formulas in your rest of the sheets, right? So you have to update your formulas, especially the start date. You have to put a random start date now. You can keep the month edit if you want, but I'm sure you will have an actual start date here, and change this particular formatting to data input. So it will be hard-coded data entry, just like column B and E. This end date function you have to change from end of the month to E date, as I explained, and charge will be changed from monthly to daily. And of course our main formula will also change. You have to add these days as well by adding one more row to have an accurate prepayment amortization according to the start date and end date. Rest of the structure will remain same. Apart from adding this one more row, the structure will remain same. So there would be only one extra row going down, and you need to change all the sheets accordingly in this entire model. You can also use same sheet for our Power Query model as well. We'll be preparing dynamic summary sheet. So you can use similar sheet. You just have to use this sheet and Kiwis as a source, which I'll be linking in the resources section. So I'll be updating this entire sheet and also use the same sheet to prepare Power Query pivot table prepayment summary model, and I will replace this sheet with our previous sheet. So you can download that from the resources section and start using that. Similar way, I will also update the advanced VBA model sheet with this particular formulas. So this particular structure I'll be using in our advanced VBA model as well, which is also available for you to download from the resources section. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in my next lecture.